Welcome to the LANCave where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen.
Hello.
Yeah, we're here giving you gaming news like we do every single week.
Can I get my mouth in here?
Yeah, you can get your mouth in there, man.
There we go.
There you go. That's much. There we go. That's what we wanted to see. We're here giving you the gaming news like we do every single week, talking about video games, nerdy stuff, hanging out in the Falcon, doing our thing. We'll probably talk Star Wars at some point. Maybe today, maybe next week. It happens. But yeah, that's what we do. So hang out with us and talk about nerdy things like we talk about, and you can talk about things with us. It's fun. How you doing, man? You good?
I'm okay. That week after you get back from a vacation, even if it's a short vacation, you're still kind of like, and so that's where it's kind of at. Just trying to make it through that week back after a week off.
Yeah, which you'd think you're all like, oh, I'm well rested and all that, and that's not really how it works.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you come back and you do the vacation after your vacation, right? Or I should say, the day off, coming back.
Yeah, I did a day off. I took Monday off, and then my kid got sick, and so he had to go to the doctor's office and stuff. So it's like, there's always something that happens.
Yeah.
When you take that extra day off, it's kind of like, punishing you for, it's like, how dare you? How dare you take more than 1 minute more than you should take off of work? You are an American. You go to work.
You work. You live to work. You live to work and push that corporate, that machine. That is capitalism. Do you get sick when you take a vacation? I know some people who, as soon as they stop, like my wife, as soon as she goes on vacation and she's not stressed, her body's like, okay, cool, now we're gonna sleep for 14 hours and you're gonna have allergies like crazy.
No, I mean I don't really get sick at all. I get sick.
Same.
You can hear me right now. I have a little nasally stuff, and that's more just because it's all polleny and springy and stuff in there. But in terms of sick, so for example, we went on this vacation. My son got sick. His two cousins got sick. His aunt got sick. My wife got sick. It's just a little cold. And then there's me. And then she even turned to me last night as she's going to bed. She's like, "Why are you not sick?" Not in a thank goodness we're not both sick. It was more accusatory. It's like, why am I sick and not you, husband? So I've just never really gotten, I get something once every couple of years that knocks me out. But I do get tired. I do have that desire to just sleep, and it's mainly because I have such a nice bed mattress, and pillow combination. I got that Casper action. I got the Casper pillow too. You gotta go all in on the brand Casper. Feel free to sponsor the podcast. I didn't sleep that good my entire time on the trip because I was on this Airbnb mattress, and it was the house was super nice, but it was a 5-bedroom house, and so we got a mattress that wasn't exactly up to snuff. That thing where I sunk into this little pillow top thing, and so that as soon as I got home, and you get that first night's sleep, and you wake up kind of drunk, but you're not it's not from drinking, it's just from the fact that you slept so good.
Yeah, no, I get it. Now you upgraded your mattress. I think I got a new mattress probably 8 months or a year after that, because we live parallel lives. One of us, it's not that we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. It's just we're in similar situations, and we're both we treat ourselves. Treat yourself. And I remember the first night sleeping on a mattress other than that mattress, and I think it was going to see my in-laws, or it was traveling for work, and I was in a hotel bed, and a nice hotel, and I laid down in the bed, and I'm like, I just can't get comfortable. It just didn't feel right. Where I'm just spoiled by my bed now, and that's what happens when you treat yourself to something like that, and you get accustomed to it. So
treat I don't even call it treating yourself. I understand that mattresses are expensive, but think about how many times you think just say you don't go anywhere on vacation. You sleeping on that thing 365 days a year potentially. for 10 years. Make sure you take care of your mattress too. We don't flip ours. Ours is a rotational thing, so you rotate it every 6 months instead of flipping, because it's not that kind of mattress. So make sure you're taking care of your mattress. It'll last you a decade. So if you divide the amount of days that you sleep into that, say $500 to $1,000, then the value is there. It's just like how we always talk about video games and how much time you're putting into them, and kind of like where that value is for you. If I play a $60 video game for 100 hours, I mean, that's less than $1 per hour. Like the math works out.
Yeah, and I still, I know that I'm I think I'm in the minority when it comes to this, but to me, I view video games similar to movies, where if you would spend say $10, $12, I guess $15 to go see a movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's just, for easy math, call it 10. If you watch a movie and the movie is 2 hours long, right, $10, and you're like, okay, that's fine. So you do the math on that. If I put 10 hours into a game, that's bad math. You put 12 hours into a game. Sorry, that's the correct. So if I'm enjoying it 10, 12, 15 hours, that's okay. 8 hours, it's okay, since it's fine still. But like you said, you're getting extra value when you're talking about games like Skyrim and Witcher and those that are 100+ hour games, Fallout games. So people are complaining where they're like, oh, this game, like mobile games. People are like, I don't want to spend $5 on that game. I'm like, how many hours are you going to spend playing? If it's, well, like we're right now, you and I both getting our Vita on, loading up Vita games, and hacked my Vita. There's so many games on there, and I'm probably going to grab a couple that are on the store. And I'm kind of thinking about it that way, like Metal Gear. Robert, friend of the show, got Metal Gear, the collection, which is all the Metal Gear games, and I'm like, $25, $30, I don't know. And then I think, I don't have that on PS3. There's a PS3 version, but I don't have it. It's not on PS5. It's not on PS4. Is it worth $25? I'd think so. 10 hours per game, 3 games on that. It says 2, but there's like 2.5 plus whatever on there. So I think it's worth it.
It really stinks that they're not going to put, because I have a feeling they're just not going to do any sales. They've been not doing sales for a couple of years now on there. Every once in a while, some random indie game pops up, but like there's a couple games on my list that are still like listed $39.99 on the Vita store, and I just don't know if I can do it. I've been finding some other stuff. I found out that Valkyria Chronicles 2, which was a PSP game, is on there. I love the first one. I still need to go back and finish the fourth one, but that was $9.99. Picked that up. Persona 4 Golden was $19.99. I went ahead and picked that up. Super Stardust Delta with the Super Stardust Delta is $9.99, but there was like a DLC thing that was that made it $14.99. Those are the ranges that I'm in to try. I'm just slow. I don't know why I'm giving Sony more money, and I don't know why I'm filling up that Vita memory card, but there's just that thing of soon you're really not going to be able to access these games anymore. There was a recent Reddit. I passed it along to Patrick, but if you guys want to look it up, it's on the Vita Reddit. Former PlayStation or Sony employee, to be more specific, who worked closely with the Vita, did a lot of questions, and so I did want to make it clear, we've talked about hacking our Vitas before. The guy did say, like, Sony does know when your Vitas are hacked, and that's actually one of the reasons that they killed it, is because the firmware was broken. Back in, I think, 2017 is when they finally broke it. 2016. Like that. That was one of the things. They were already kind of not supporting it very well, and then as soon as it got hacked, that's when they really were like, nope, Vita's dead to them.
Sony's so adverse to hacking after the PS3 got hacked. They were
the PSN outage, the great PSN outage. That when that hack occurred and when that breach occurred. So I do want to warn people. They do know what that person made it sound like is like, well, they just haven't done anything about it, maybe because they don't care when it comes to the Vita. But just if you are risk adverse, if you are thinking about picking up a Vita and so on, that is something to consider, that they know. Now, the thing that I wouldn't do eventually, if it ever is I wouldn't break your PS4 or anything where you have a lot more purchases probably than your Vita. But I've taken that risk. I'm not playing any Vita ROMs. So that's another thing, is all my Vita games are legitimate. I legitimately just broke it so that I could put a bigger memory card
100%.
in
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Not that
did the
Sony's
same.
listening or cares, but that's why
Yeah,
I did it, Sony, I promise.
I looked into how to put ROMs on there because I have more ROMs. Or I go into that when it comes to some of my classics and stuff, and I looked into it, and the steps to go into the PKG files to it was too arduous, in my opinion. It wasn't the drag and drop kind of situation, so I don't think I'm going to either.
It is drag and drop. You just have to do it over the air.
For the, I thought so. I was looking at some people who were converting the files. They were ISO to PKG, whatever, and I maybe like I said, maybe I was looking at like an older tutorial, but they were like using third-party software to convert the file, then you drag and drop.
Or you could just find somebody who's already converted it. I'm not encouraging anybody to do Vita ROMs, by the way.
Exactly. So both of us are just downloading games we already purchased. Yeah. That's all it is. And I will say, I had previously hacked. This is obviously it's not Sony, but I'd previously hacked my Xbox 360, and Microsoft would ban my console, had banned my console, but they didn't do anything to my account. Because they were like, okay, well, you modded your console, shame on you.
Which honestly is fortunate for you, because clearly, anytime we're doing this, by the way, we are breaking the terms of service, so that does happen.
Of course, yeah. And you run that risk. I don't think Sony's going to care when it comes to Vita. I think that they're just going to let this thing die. They're going to let the PS3 die. They're going to let the Vita die, and that's sad. In doing so, I wanted to bring up a little bit, because as we're talking about this, we're already seeing some PS3 games that aren't able to get their patches. And I was like, oh, okay, it's like 2 or 3 obscure games. It's like the list just keeps going on. Some of them may not be like the top tier games or anything, but there are more and more on PSN profiles. They're kind of adding, like I said, they're not top tier games, but Alien Isolation you can't get the patch for. Dark Void, there's quite a few. Dante's Inferno, which I think is not very playable without it. Dungeon Siege 3, like I said, the list goes on and on. Just Cause 2, geez, like these. It's okay. So last time I
Just
looked
Cause
at it,
2 is like a broken game on console anyway. When you compare it to the plays, did you know that the game is still really high on Steam?
Just Cause 2, I wouldn't doubt it, because it's good. 3 isn't as good as 2.
Am I thinking of the right one? Where no, never mind. I'm not. There's something else that is like super high on Steam all the time to this day, and it's because it has a huge play base in Asia, and it's another 2 game, I think, but maybe it's not Just Cause 2.
Yeah, maybe not. Well, yeah, we wanted to bring that up because if you have a PS3, if you have a Vita, update the games that you can, download the games that you can. PS3, you cannot, without hacking your PS3, you cannot do extended storage. So you have the internal storage hard drive, and that's it. If you hack the similar to the Vita, you're locked into the proprietary memory that they give you, or the internal memory that they give you. So I'm probably going to hack my PS3 for that reason, to be like, I want to store my games. We'll talk about that with the PS5 in a bit, but with this going on, I wanted to talk about something that we know is an issue with the PS3, and people are realizing now it's going to be the same issue with the PS4 unless Sony patches this, which is the CMOS battery, or PRAM battery, which is essentially the battery on your motherboard. Essentially, if it can't connect to the servers and your battery dies, you have your battery replaced, you can't play any games on a disc or digitally until your PS3 checks in with the PlayStation Network servers. Those servers, it sounds like those servers are going to go down when the store goes down, or if they don't go down now, they will go down later. And if that's the case, you won't be able to play your games you own physically. You won't be able to play on PS3. PS4, it sounds like that's the case as well, which means if you purchased a physical game, you have the disc, but you can't run it on the PS3, even though the PS3 is functional. because it can't check into the network. And so Sony's not going to patch the PS3 for this, but I'm hoping they're going to patch the PS4, so that way you don't have this issue.
I mean, it's probably not, because they've seemingly, with the PS4, ended non-backwards compat, at least for a generation. Hopefully in perpetuity.
Yeah.
That we no longer have this problem. So right now you can take your physical PS4 library minus what is it, like 9 or 10 games that they couldn't get to run, and put those in your PS5 and they will run. So,
but if you don't have a PS5 and they shut down the servers, so I'm saying, like,
I know, but I was just saying, like, that's their turnaround on that, is that they now have something that it will take your disc. It's just, you will have to purchase it. But in terms of that ever becoming a problem with PS4 games and on, probably not.
Yeah. It's, well, as long as you get the new system, you mean.
Right.
As long as you get the new system, you're fine, or you get a new system. And it seems like that from a forward-thinking motion, from a forward compatibility, if you will, we're going to hit the same servers with the PS5, we hit the same servers with the PS4, and hopefully PS6 will continue in that trajectory, so that way we don't run into that issue. PS3 is the first time that they had a store, as we talked about that last week. So yeah, it's antiquated, and as the guy in the Vita forums was actually talking about, shutting down the stores, they're antiquated stores, and if you're not supporting those storefronts, then you leave yourself open for vulnerabilities. There's all kinds of security concerns. So I get it. I just don't want to be in that situation, like I said, where I can't play the games that I own. So, for example, my PS3, if that battery dies and I can't check into the servers, I can't play any games. It's another reason. Again, we're not condoning. We're not going to condone someone stealing, but if you hack your PS3, then it will essentially skip that step, and you'll still be able to play your games.
Yeah, so, I can't say that. I mean, obviously, we don't know how long they're going to keep them up. We were kind of blindsided by them shutting the store down to begin with, even though on this show we said that at some point they were going to. Yeah. The guy, again, just going back to that same Reddit, he did say that the expensive one was keeping the payment system going. He's what he made it sound like is that in terms of keeping your ability to download up is considerably cheaper than and less resource heavy than having a payment system that runs through that. So they're essentially shutting down and saving that cost and resources of the payment system. And so hopefully they leave it up for a long time, just because it doesn't cost them much to do so, and people spent money on it. Hopefully they don't pull a Nintendo anytime soon, but again, who knows? This wasn't even like a blog post or a real announcement. This was, you got an email, and I think there was a tweet, and it was only after it leaked a couple days before from a random source, and then it's like, well, we're pulling the plug. And this whole thing was handled extremely poorly. We mentioned it before, but there was a dev that bought a Vita dev kit from them the month before they announced the shutdown, and it was like, why did you sell us the dev kit then? And they talked to that their account person, and the account person who sold them the dev kit didn't even know until they found out at the same time.
I figured that had to be because you're limiting who knows. It'll leak if you tell too many people. So only a handful of people knew. So I get it. It just really sucks. So we wanted to bring it up just to say, like, hey, this is happening with the store. This is something hopefully we don't have to worry about with the PS4. Hopefully, but yeah, with your PS3 and Vita, that's going to be a thing. Speaking of,
just keep talking about storage.
I was going to say, let's keep talking about storage. Keep talking about Sony, because the PS5 update just happened. I booted up my PS5, got the update, and there's some things in here that I was like, this is great, and some other parts I do not like. Have you turned yours on yet?
I mean, it's always in standby, so I haven't turned it on today though.
Yeah, I don't like this is the minor thing. There's a lot of great stuff there, but I don't like the organization on the top. Like, it's throwing in it started throwing in additional features like the share and other things that I'm like, I wanted my recent games up there, so it just threw me off at first. Once you clean that up, it's not really a big deal. But the biggest thing here, like you were talking about, the external storage, you can now download a game on your PS5 and move a PS5 game to external storage to be used later. You can't play it off the PS5 of the external storage, but if you're like us and you have an external hard drive and you fill up your internal PS5 because some of the games that we have now got an upgrade, or let's say you only have like 5 or 6 PS5 games. If you have Call of Duty, what's that, half the storage right there? Because you have Call of Duty on PS5, right? What is it?
I have it on Xbox,
that's right.
but it still takes up, I think, 160 gigs of my Xbox hard drive, which would be over 1/6 of my PS5 if it was on that. But I have it on Series.
Yeah, so being able to transfer these games over is great, to not have to re-download. It's considerably quicker to be able to do that, and to know, like, hey, I've got this ready, and don't have to worry about it. I'm gonna move an external hard drive in there because my external hard drive is filled with PS4 games. So yeah. I'm gonna have a larger hard drive specifically for this to store those games for later.
I mean, unless it stops me, can we not store them on the same drive?
You should be able to store on the same drive.
Okay, because I bought that 4 terabyte.
You got the 4 terabyte. You're fine. I have a 1 terabyte. 1 terabyte solid state, and then the 860 gig that's in the PS5. So I have a 2 terabyte sitting right next to me. So I'll probably use that instead. It's just.
And to be perfectly clear, just in case anybody missed what he said or isn't paying close enough attention, you can't play the games off that hard drive. So you don't need to worry about using your SSD. By the way, I play my games. I play PS4 straight off my WDD gaming HDD. It's just a fast HDD. And
is that a 3.0?
Yes.
Okay. You're good.
And I've noticed very little slowdown. The first game that offered me any resistance really on using the PS5's load time was Hitman 1, and Hitman's an always online game anyway, so I figured that had something to do with it, is that it's A, always online, and B, running off the external. Every other game that I've had runs as smooth as you would expect it to on PS5, and that's just a regular HDD. But say you do want to store your PS4 games on an external SSD because you want it to be as fast as you possibly can, and you want to play it off that drive, you can't play your PS5 games off this external. So you can throw those on whatever you want. I do suggest doing a 3.0 so that way you can transfer them quickly.
Yes.
Because the whole point is that you already have it downloaded, right? So you want to be able to manage that, which I haven't checked my PS app to see if they've updated that. I read in the blog post that you should now be able to manage your storage on the PS app, which is great because that's how I manage my Xbox. I manage my Xbox through my phone. I'm like, I'll just be looking and I'll be like, I want to download this from Game Pass. Oh, this is a big game that I'm no longer going to play anymore. Let's delete that for right now.
I haven't tried that on the Xbox app. I need to do that. I know that I saw the PlayStation got the update to do that. I did do it through the app and downloaded 2 games and deleted. I had, what was it? I deleted Cyberpunk. Because I have it, I'm not going to play it. I know I'm not going to play it for a while.
Yeah.
So I removed that and added a couple games. I'm like, this is fine. I can. And as soon as I did that, I was like, as soon as I hit the delete, okay, and then I went, shoot, why didn't I transfer that to a hard drive? But I mean, now I'll have to reinstall it with a disc. But installing with the disc is going to take a while because I have to actually have the disc version of Cyberpunk because I got it on sale.
So I'm looking away from it, by the way. If anybody's actually like watching the camera feed, I was seeing if the app had got updated. Now I have to see if I've actually updated the app because I'm not seeing it immediately for storage. There is an update that was available 2 days ago. So gonna go ahead and update my app now because that was a part of the blog post. Another thing that was a part of the blog post, since we're just talking lots of storage, so we still have that old NVMe slot. Sony says they are working on it.
It's so
disappointing.
Lonely. So lonely. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to buy, especially even if Sony, if you have a branded SSD. You have the branded M2 SSD, or as Robert mentioned, and we've seen Sony's going to have ones that are like going to be in the gaming area. They're going to be with PS5s. If you can see a PS5 in the wild, they're going to have these hard drives out. Well, I'll buy whatever Sony, whatever you deem is there. I'm going to buy it. I want that additional storage. You think they're still just working with manufacturers to get the right?
I think it has to do with they can't get it to work right. Like in terms of the games and loading. Like I have a feeling that the reason that they're not doing it is because they don't want to break the games. I mean, when you think about it, this is a separate thing. This is like hardware, firmware versus online. But you think about how they couldn't figure out how to change their names because of how they rigged PS9 or PSN, where your name was your user account versus what it should have been, which is you should have been assigned a number in the background. Think about, they have this custom hard drive, and then there's non-custom, non-proprietary memory. So while I appreciate that they didn't go proprietary this time like Xbox did, at the same time, Xbox's was ready at launch, and it is proprietary, and it's probably never going to really go down in price. You might get a sale every once in a while. I showed Patrick one where it was like $20 off. $20 is $20, but it's still expensive to buy that drive. They're trying to allow you to use third-party M2s, and it's probably just a thing of like, well, they don't want you to come back and be like, well, this broke my PlayStation. I put a drive that is on your approved list. I tried to play a game on it, and now my PlayStation don't work. I think that it's probably an overabundance of caution.
Yeah, I think they're already going to have a problem where people are going to buy these, going to buy lower spec M2 SSDs or lower spec SSDs. Try to get it to try to connect it and not have it work. Hopefully, they have some failsafe. I'm not a hardware expert at this level, so I hope that there's some failsafe where it'll recognize this doesn't, this does not match, this does not compute, and it just won't even try. For for those who put in a lesser. If you had a lesser spec SSD or one that's not up to snuff. But no, I get it. I really hope it's not that it's just breaking. I was hoping it's not that, but if it is that, keep delaying. If it needs to be Christmas, it's going to be Christmas. Now that we have the external transfers, I'm much happier than I was before, because up to now it was like I bought an external drive because I filled up the hard. I knew I'd fill up the hard drive really quick. And now I have like both of those are almost filled with games. So
yeah, and by the way, I'm basing that speculation off of absolutely nothing. I'm just my own guess of just seeing how Sony is whenever it comes to these kinds of things. The fact that it's still not ready, I think that it's probably just they have to make sure it works with their hard drive because they didn't go the proprietary route like Xbox did. They don't. It's just like whenever we talk about like graphics cards and PCs, and one of the reasons why we generally game on console more here on this show is the plug and play aspect. We just like downloading our game and playing it. Now they have to worry about that, and it's not necessarily a standard where each. I mean, there is a standard, but it's just less known. But you know how SD cards, like with the Switch, there's like a standard speed, or there's more than one speed of your SD card, and it's like, okay, this one's the one that you buy for your Switch, and I forget. There's a, what it is, the letter combination H1 or G. There's a thing for the SD card where it's like you need to make sure you buy this SD card. I feel like it's going to have to be something similar with the M2, where it's like. I just hope that they just make a list where it's like, here's all the ones, and keep it updated or something. Here's all the M2 drives that will play PS5 games or something like that. Because, you're right. There's crappy M2 drives out there. There's
SDHC is what we're talking about. Sorry, SDHC or SDXC. Yeah. Depending on the size that you're going with. Yeah. And that's... No, you're spot on. There needs to be a way for if you're allowing it to be open to the public, if you're allowing for the average person to make that mistake, there needs to be something that Sony either on their site has a list of approved ones. We already talked about they're going to have ones that are branded, like that will have the Sony not necessarily sticker. I'm thinking like a sticker, like the Nintendo seal of approval. There's going to be some way that you'll be able to go into the gaming section of a store or go into GameStop or wherever you're going, where you'd be like, this is the one, that this will work. Because I'm just imagining people going into a Best Buy, because Walmart doesn't. Well, actually, Walmart would sell these in the store for this, but I'm thinking about going to if you go to like a Micro Center or Best Buy and you're just grabbing an M2, it may not be the right one.
Or if you're on Amazon, you could just you could type in PS5 drive, and you really need to be paying attention to what you're doing, because anybody can put anything in their product description. I feel like
I would say that third-party seller is going to put PS5. They're going to put all the tags that they can to get you to buy that, and then you're going to be like, this doesn't work right. And don't go on Wish for any of this stuff. Don't buy electronics on Wish. Do not do that. Only buy stupid novelty stuff to make yourself laugh.
Can't say I've ever bought anything on Wish.
I bought actually.
Is it like buying on Woot?
I actually bought this on Wish, which I don't even know if it's valid, or I don't know if it's a real one. And
you've never tapped it on to your.
Well, they probably put the what's it called, the chip inside there. Yeah, Wish is trash, as Jeremy in the comments is saying. No, so I got this on Wish because this, if you look on eBay, at least at the time when I looked, they were $70 plus for this amiibo, because they came out with them and then they were just like, we're done, and everyone bought them because Dark Souls fans are fanatics.
Well, that's Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly. It's Nintendo. And they were like, we don't think there will be this many of them. Meanwhile, there are like thousands and thousands of Animal Crossing ones that are still available. They can't get rid of. There's a dollar store near me that has like tons of these amiibos that no one wants. Meanwhile, this one, everyone.
Are you playing Animal Crossing still? Did you play it at all?
I did play it. I haven't played it in a while.
I played it for a month, and so like this was me 2020 a long time ago. So
yeah, I played it. For a couple months. One of our friends here still plays. She absolutely loves it. She's put in probably over 1,000 hours, just an insane amount of time. Does great stuff on her island, and yeah, it's like. I feel bad because I'm like, yeah, I want to go visit, or I want to do something. I'm busy. I've been doing other things. I liked playing it. It was very enjoyable. And then like a lot of people, I found it could only entertain me for so long, and it entertained me for a couple months. You said a month. That's a decent amount.
I mean, I think that's just more like natural for people like you and me, where it's just I have so much stuff to play. What do I do? I can't. That's the problem with always online type games. I briefly tried to get back into Final Fantasy 14 last year to give it a play, because I heard that the new expansion was so great, and I lasted like 2 days. I bought like a month's worth of time, and it's just one of those things where I just don't do the always online. Even now, where I've been playing a lot of Black Ops, Cold War, even now I haven't played that game in 2 weeks, just because. And I'll jump in. There will be a period where I want to jump in and do a quick online multiplayer match, but it's not anything that I have to continuously keep up with like you do in Animal Crossing, where it's like your people might leave town, or you're gonna have to go pick all your weeds up out of the ground, or whatever. I guess
it's not as bad, but that's how I'm the same way with MMOs, where I'm like, if I'm going to play it, I need to play consistently. Whether or not I'm even paying for it, I feel like there's no point in playing World of Warcraft if you're not going to play at least a couple hours in a sitting. Yeah. Like, you may talk about like how many times a week or whatever, but like if you're talking about just jumping in for like 30 minutes and jumping out, you can't do anything on World of Warcraft that way. I didn't play a lot of Final Fantasy 14 on that. Was it like that, where you really needed to like?
I mean, there's daily quests and stuff. It really depends on how serious you can play it like a single player game,
Well, I mean, like, could you jump in for like 20 or 30 minutes and get something out of it? Or
yeah, you
like,
can do dailies that way. Once you're like through the main stuff that is your dailies, it's probably like an hour sometimes if you want to complete every single daily. But if there's like a specific thing that you want to log into, you know, Jeremy in the comments mentioning that he got back into No Man's Sky after the update, I've considered that's available on Game Pass. He streams over on the page that talks about us a lot, by the way, the Nerd Dad's Lair, gaming lair. I want to make sure I get that right. Nerd Dad Gaming Lair over on, I think they're on everything really. So whatever you want to stream on. I also did see ESO is on Game Pass. That's something that I'm considering checking out. I probably won't play it for very long. I'm not very attached to the Elder Scrolls, but it's available on Game Pass. So I'm thinking about downloading it and just giving it a play. Outriders just came out on Game Pass. I did play about 2 hours of that demo. There's something there. It's not anything amazing. I don't know if you checked it out at all.
I haven't yet. I'm going to. I'm going to because it looks like it'd be fun. It looks like it'd be more fun. Like, I was tempted. What's it called? Godfall was on like I think almost 50% discount the other week, and I was tempted to get it, but I'm like, do I want to do that or want to play Outriders so I can play it for free? Which I know they're not the same thing, but either one I feel like I'm going to have to devote time to, right? So it's not the same style, but I'm going to have to devote some time. If I want to enjoy this game, I'm going to need to devote some time.
You know what's weird? Yeah. And maybe it's not weird at all because of just it's who made it. It's the fact that it's a Square game. Is that dumb? Like, it's not even Final Fantasy related. Like most of the Square games that I play, I've been playing. We didn't talk about it at the top, but I've been playing Fantasian on Apple Arcade. It's an iOS exclusive right now, but it was developed by Square and one of the original people of Final Fantasy. It also has I always get his name wrong, Uebo Numetsu, the guy who does all the Final Fantasy music. He did the music for Fantasian, and turn-based RPG. Couple cool mechanics in there, but that's something that I've been checking out. And then I played Outriders, and while there was nothing standout-ish about the Outriders demo that I played, at the same time it was like, this is fun. You know, it's a cover shooter. It's kind of like a less violent Gears of War in terms of like you go into cover and that's how you're mainly doing your combat. You don't do a lot of open combat, but you have your powers and stuff. But it always comes back to how long am I going to keep up an online game?
Exactly. And I will say that, speaking of that, I mentioned to a couple people, I don't know who all is going to be interested in doing it, but with Diablo 2 coming out, I'm going to go back and play some Diablo 2. And that game,
let me get that Zon going, baby.
I can play some single player and be able to then also jump in and like play with other people, which I think I'm like that works for me. I don't know how much I'm gonna play of it, and by that I mean I don't know how consistently I'll be playing. But at the same time, because we talk about time being time and everything else being value, sometimes paying a little bit more may get what you want. So because there's cross progression, I believe cross play on it, I'm thinking about getting it on the Switch, which I feel is like complete sacrilege. But if I get it on the Switch, I can start on the Switch, play it, and if I really enjoy it, and I do want to buy it, I can buy it on the PC and cross progression. So that's, and I don't think I can justify doing it at the same. Well, you know, I probably can, because Diablo 2 is one of my games. I could probably justify buying it on both, and then having cross progression. So that way, if I want to play it on PC, I can sit here, I can play it like it's supposed to be played, because it's supposed to be played with a mouse and keyboard. And then if I want to take it on the go with me, I can still play some Diablo 2 on the go.
I mean, if they're figuring it out, from what and again, I haven't played it. You've played Diablo 3, right?
I did. Yeah, I played it on PC first, and I played it on Switch. I have it on Switch.
So in terms of Diablo 3, I've heard that that they figured out controller, that they figured out how to make it work.
Bad.
And so I'm definitely going to buy it. It's a matter of, do I get it on PS5 rather, or Xbox? But with my backbone now forget the Switch, dude. I'll just
That's
play it
true.
on. I'll just play it on remote play.
That's true.
And it'll look and run better than it does on.
Yeah.
I'll be dead honest with you, dude. Other than like Pokemon Snap's coming out at the end of the month, the Switch is getting 0 playtime for me right now. We picked up the new Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Me and my wife played through that couch co-op, beat that game. That took about a week. Then turned that Switch back off. Haven't played it again since.
Wow.
We'll turn it back on for Pokemon Snap, and then we're gonna play the crap out of that. Hopefully, introduce the kid to Pokemon. He hasn't seen anything yet. I tried to play the TV show. He wasn't interested. So let's see if maybe he gets interested in the on rails like aspect of it. And then depending on how long that game lasts, though, ever since I got the Backbone, I can just remote play my Xbox. I can remote play my PS5. They look better. It runs better.
I'm loving it. No, I'm doing the same thing. I will say, I'm playing a little bit of Hyrule Warriors, but no, I'm in the same position where I can play all these different games on my Razer Kishi. So I just checked when it comes to exclusive games that are coming out, and yeah, you're right. We got new Pokemon Snap. By the way, Monster Hunter Rise did come out, which I'm like, I like Monster Hunter. I watched the Monster Hunter movie last night, by the way.
I saw that.
It was all right. I mean, I was like, I'm not gonna say it was great. Like, I was happy about some things in it. It's the weaponry is as ridiculous as you'd want. Ron Perlman is in it, and he looks ridiculous. He looks like he'd be part of the game. Like Whitney was like, his wig is terrible. It's and I'm like, yeah, it's over the top. Like, nobody has hair like that. But it's Ron Perlman with this like big anime, like big what are they called? Big sideburns, big hair. I'm like, he looks perfect. And he's got this giant.
Does he just look like Hellboy?
Well, yeah, I mean, he always kind of looks like Hellboy. I mean, but to me, I mean, like, in dating myself, because I was a tiny kid when this was going on, but I remember when he was in the Beauty and the Beast TV show with Linda Hamilton. So they had like these prosthetics on it, so he looked like a cat man that lived in the sewers. That was the plot of that Beauty and the Beast. And if you look at that, which of course I didn't have that ready to throw up here, I didn't think to be talking about Ron Perlman, but if you look at him and then you look at that prosthetics, you're like, yep, that's Ron Perlman, like just like a little bit more Ron Perlman in there. I thought it was entertaining. Anyways, you mentioned Pokemon Snap. Famicom Detective Club, I may look at. I don't even know what that is, but I like detective stuff. Mario
it's Golf. It's an old Famicom game that they're like bringing out. Golf is going to be the next one probably for me.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Miitopia is on there, but Super Golf, Mario.
And then
Golf,
Skyward Sword HD.
And Skyward Sword HD. So like, yeah, I'm probably not going to turn on my Switch until those games, and then it says to be determined. But apparently, we're supposed to still get Breath of the Wild. I don't think. Do you think it's going to be this year? Do you think that's going to be the release?
I don't know anymore, man. They're not really acknowledging the anniversary of Zelda. Not that they're required to, by the way. I know a lot of people say that, but like, it's one of those things where they're not really saying much about it. Who knows? If it is, it's a November game.
Yeah, I'm thinking November. I really hope it comes out this year, but at the same time, like, Breath of the Wild launched and it was amazing. I would not want Breath of the Wild 2 to launch and for it to be lacking or buggy.
It's not going to happen.
Usually, I was saying Nintendo doesn't do that, especially when it comes to Zelda. It's not going to happen. But yeah, but what I am excited about for this summer, though, in addition to playing some Mario Golf, is going back into Final Fantasy VII, because I'm probably going to play it again in its entirety. Playing it
in 60 FPS, dude. I like that's the thing that could like make me want to try and go for the plat.
Yeah, I don't know. I may go for the plat. I don't know. But looking at this, I'm even paranoid about it now. Checking like, okay, I got the super deluxe version, but that's the physical version, and making sure I'm like, did I put in the the code for the deluxe digital, which I did, but I'm paranoid because if you didn't buy the deluxe version, then the DLC pack, so not the upgrade, because the upgrade is a different story, but the DLC pack with Yuffie and the additional missions and stuff is $20.
So I
And
compared that, by the way, just in preparation for the show. Standard. If you look at Last of Us Left Behind, that launched at $14.99, and then if you look at Uncharted Lost Legacy, that was $19.99. Or $10, I think, if you had bought the ultimate one. But if you tried to buy it as a standalone, it was $19.99. So if anybody's like, that's a lot, I feel like those are both two AAA games that launched a pretty extensive DLC. So $19.99 is probably fair. If you don't want to pay it, it'll be on sale at some point.
Yeah, sorry, real quick. Jeremy's talking to me streaming some Mario Golf, dude. I will watch that, and if we can do online multiplayer, I'll play some multiplayer with. That's one of my favorite games.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
But yes, price wise, I don't think it's bad. I'm curious how much it adds, because it is going to add. I think they gave a ballpark when it came to the time, like 3 or 4 hours or something like that for her missions or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, that's what they're putting on there. I don't know how much it's actually going to add. By the way, photo mode. I'm loving this. Sorry, I just saw the. We were talking about photo mode there. Do
you mess with photo modes? I don't.
I know some people who go really deep into it. I want to. I want to go deep into doing that more. I do. I go into modes when it comes to playing games, anyways. Like, so I platinumed Demon Souls, and in doing that, like, I would go in and I would do a specific aspect, like a specific grind or specific boss, right? And I was also like capturing the footage and stuff like that. But I feel like if I'm playing the game and I'm in a groove and then I stop and I go into photo mode, even if I'm spending like a couple minutes like doing stuff in there, I get out of the flow. So I have to like find a time where it's almost like, okay, this is an appropriate time, I will do it. This is a downtime, I will do it. I feel like it ruins the flow for me. I did it quite a bit in Demon Souls. I would like clear out a level, and then I'd go back to a specific area and try to do some photo mode stuff. Also, timing wise, like, I can't get the timing right sometimes.
They say the intergrade is 2 chapters long, and so if you compare that to 7 Remake, you were somewhere between like 1 and 3 hours for chapters, and so you're probably looking at like 4 to 6 hours for Yuffie. So I mean, if you look at that price tag wise, that probably can feel like a little high, but just know that it's not necessary. It'll definitely be on sale during like Black Friday, even probably. Like it's a thing that you'll be able to get it for $10 later, and I know that there's got to be like some FOMO and everything with that, but just know that if you were looking at Final Fantasy VII Remake, you still haven't played it yet, you managed to snag a PS5. By the way, go get it used if you can over at GameStop. It's a lot cheaper than you can buy it digitally right now. You get a free PS5 upgrade. So the PS5 upgrade for the game is free unless you have the PS Plus version, which is still stupid. But you can't complain about free in that case, but you can still get it cheaper physically. And you can play that and then get Intergrade later for cheaper. I have the Ultimate Edition that I bought physically. I bought the regular edition digitally and then put my Ultimate Edition code in, and so I am kind of worried about that working correctly. But I did get the extras, like the materia and stuff, so I'm assuming it's going to work. But if it doesn't, you'll see me raising some hell while I also spend $20, because there's no way I'm not playing that game immediately.
Yeah, 100% no, and that I'm feeling that too, because I have the game. So I have the Ultimate Crazy Deluxe version. I put in my stuff, but that comes with a disc, right? So I have and then I own the digital version. So from a deluxe standpoint, I own a deluxe.
Did you buy it digitally, or are you just talking about you have the PS4 Plus?
I have the the PlayStation Plus digital version, and then I have the disc legit version. Not that the PS Plus one isn't, but what I'm concerned about is if I put in because I assume I'm going to need to put in my disc into the PS5, let it register, recognize, hey, this is part of your thing. Let me download it, whatever. I'm really hoping because of the DLC, because of the code that I've put in, I'm hoping that Sony realizes he does own this. He does own the the deluxe version. He owns a copy of that, and then lets me play the digital version upgraded. But I have a feeling that it won't, and that's going to be really dumb if I have to put my disc in to play the upgraded version. That's gonna be dumb. But there may be a chance that happens. But you're correct. If I can't play Yuffie, I'm going to pay the other $20. What I'm concerned about is not being able to play the upgraded version without putting the disc into the system. Which, by the way, that's another thing I forgot to mention in the updates. By the way, for PlayStation 5, the disc is quieter now.
Oh, that's good. They fixed that.
Yeah. So
that means that means that they did that thing that they talked about where they could adjust fan speeds and stuff via firmware, which is cool, but I haven't checked that out yet. There is a disc sitting in my drive right now. Very annoying, by the way, if I'm playing a game that is off my hard drive. So I've been playing Hitman 2 via Hitman 3, but did you know that if you play, so you can, if you own Hitman 1 and 2, you don't have to launch those two games. You can actually just play the content inside of Hitman 3, and you get the small little haptics things that they do with like the triggers and everything, because you're using the Hitman 3 launcher, so to speak. So right now we're playing through the Hitman 2 campaign, and that's playing off. Yeah, that's playing off my hard drive. I have another game that's in a disc, and it just randomly likes to turn on sometimes, where it just turns to. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm not playing this game, and you don't have quick resume like Xbox does. I don't understand why my disc just decides to spin on that.
It's just checking. It's OCD. Like you're like, did I lock my car? Let me go.
Yeah, because I was playing my 12 for 12 game this month, and that's one of the few games that I'm doing that's actually on disc with Song of the Deep, and I just left the disc in there, and then she's like, it's one of those weird things where my wife's like, do you want to play Hitman? You want to play Hitman? I'm like, sure. If you're ever married, people, you get that spouse thing and they're not as into games as you are, and they latch on to something, you got to say yes. You can't pass those opportunities up where they want to sit there and play a game with you, because that doesn't happen all the time. And so she's like, well, what are you going to do? I was like, I'm just going to play a game. What are you going to play?
What are you going to play?
Well, I mean, what should I play?
I played some Oddworld with the wife this weekend, by the way.
Oh yeah,
and
free on PS Plus, PS5.
Free. I was very happy it's free on PS Plus. I'm probably gonna throw money at them because I love the Oddworld series. I really like it.
That's good.
And I'm
2.9D or whatever.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people online who are like that did enjoy it. And I figured there'd be a lot of people who didn't, but the humor, the gameplay, it's not as non-violent as the original. There are ways you can be a little more violent and stuff, but the idea you can play similar to Hitman. That's what reminded me of that. There are strategies where you're like, I can go completely undetected, or I can actually cause some problems. You can't, like, if you're gonna be in a straight-on fight, you're going to die. So it's advantageous for you to plan out your attack and plan out what you're wanting to accomplish. And yeah, I really like it. The humor is still there. It's still quirky, and I'm really enjoying it. We went through the first couple missions, and I'm glad it's free. So I hope more people are checking that out. It looked like even in the really toxic PS5 Facebook group, the people were liking it. So like, I thought these people they trash everything, and they were liking it. So I don't know. I'm happy about it though.
I mean, also don't forget to pick up Days Gone.
Yes.
For PS Plus. We don't always talk about all that kind of stuff, but like Sony's starting to throw out a lot of their first party stuff. They did Ratchet, which wasn't even PS Plus. They just gave everybody who went and hit the button Ratchet and Clank 2016 on that. They're gonna be giving away again without PS Plus Horizon Zero Dawn very soon, so make sure if you don't own that, grab that. But Days Gone, which we did find out we're not getting a sequel to, super unfortunate. We didn't get to talk news last week, but if you haven't read Jason Schreier's article, or if you don't want to pay for Bloomberg, everybody else talked about it too. But whatever's going on at Sony, I don't know. But we are not getting a sequel to Days Gone, but they are giving Days Gone away for free. I thought that was really odd time, or not. Maybe it was perfect timing in terms of the article. But go check that out if you like the zombie open world type stuff. I know that it has a PS5 version, and apparently is fun to play. I'm gonna go back to it at some point. I downloaded it again, but who knows?
I downloaded Horizon Zero Dawn again because I haven't beaten the game.
You still haven't beaten that game. You got to beat that game, man.
It's so good. It's I mean, it's not as bad as that, but every time I think about doing it, it's similar to your feeling on The Witcher, where I'm like, this is gonna take a while to do it. And
it took me about 35 hours.
And I actually want to enjoy it. I actually want to spend the time doing it. So that's why I downloaded it, though. So I've got it ready when I want to play it. Thought we'd talk about a little bit of rumors as we're kind of wrapping up here. We got a little bit of time. So in regards to, we had some rumors. You know what? I'm gonna skip. I'm just gonna skip both those ones that I've missed on put on rumors. We're talking about DrDisrespect. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we can talk Doc.
Yeah.
One of the rumors, by the way, was Sony working on a Game Pass competitor. That's not necessarily a rumor. It's just when's it going to happen. Jim Ryan has said that they are doing it. It's just a matter of when.
It's when it's going to happen. So PlayStation Now, and I did check. I haven't messed with PlayStation Now in forever, and I plan on, when CD Keys puts it at a decent discount, I'll probably grab it. Apparently, you can download. So you can download the games to them.
You can't download PS3 games.
You can't download PS3 games though. That is the downside. But there's a good amount of things on there that I'm like, I kind of want to do it. And my internet connection's good enough that I would imagine my PS3 games would be playing fine. But I want to know how they're going to beef this up, or if they're going to do kind of what Xbox did, which may be the best way to go, which is fold PlayStation Now into PlayStation Plus, where you have a media subscription that gives you both. Because we've gone from a few years ago, we used to get 6 PlayStation games a month for free. Now we went down to 2. We went down to 4, then we went down to 2. Now we're at like 3. So I say bring PlayStation Now into the PlayStation Plus fold, and bring those subscribers up like Xbox is doing. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I can say that if you're going to do Now, you can download the PS4 games. It is reasonably priced for what it is. It's just they're not doing what they should do in terms of, they should put their whole first party on PlayStation Now. And they put God of War on there for like a limited amount of time. Screw that. You've made all the money you're ever going to make off of God of War. Just put it on PlayStation Now. I understand if you're not going to do day and date like Game Pass is, because you need to extract your money, even though you probably should. But the price for it, you can get it for $55 for a year. That's fine. But they really need to just beef it with their first party, which, by the way, that's what's going to happen with Game Pass. I don't know if anybody else is really talking about this, but if you look at the Game Pass model in terms of its sustainability, the only reason that Microsoft doesn't care is because they don't have to care about the money that goes into Game Pass right now. But they're not going to keep that third-party stuff forever. And what they're eventually going to be able to say is, we have 25 studios pumping out games for this stuff, and you get it day one with Game Pass. There's still going to be some third-party stuff, but I just can't expect these contracts to keep up. I can't expect to keep getting Outriders day one. I can't expect the EA contract to last forever. I can't expect a lot of that stuff. And so eventually I feel like Game Pass is literally just going to be this first party staple where it's like you have all this first party stuff, and occasionally we get the other deals like Sony does, where we got Final Fantasy 16 coming to PlayStation exclusively. We got Project Athia coming to PlayStation exclusively. They should just put their first party on PlayStation Now. The whole thing.
But with Xbox, let's say those contracts end in a couple years, right? Where you're no longer getting that EA on Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
But Microsoft has purchased like every major studio, like so many major devs that those games that they're working on are then just going to come out on Xbox. So again, it becomes a first-party subscription, a first-party machine, but they're going to crank out really good games, and they're going to be, it's more than just 3 or 4 a year that are complete blockbusters. One of the things you were talking about the Schreier article, saying Sony doubling down on the idea of blockbuster titles, the too big to fail idea of, if you have a game like The Last of Us, right? If you have a game like that, everyone's going to buy. That's great, or the majority of people are going to buy. Where Microsoft is like, I'm going to throw, instead of 4 or 6 major titles a year, let's call it 10 for Sony. It's not even that many. Microsoft is just like, we're going to have 25, we're going to have 30 or more. Eventually, they're going to have so many coming out that are going to be part of Game Pass. And you're right, it's going to be interesting on that. The other aspect of this that was, I guess, briefly, was there's a rumor. The other rumor side, because you mentioned the Sony one's basically confirmed. The other rumor is that Nintendo is in talks with Microsoft and doing Game Pass on Nintendo. I'm assuming that a lot of that's Game Pass Ultimate, where you're streaming.
It would have to be xCloud.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, xCloud. That's what I meant. When I meant Ultimate, I meant xCloud, because I don't think the hardware could do it. Plus, you're talking about porting everything to the console, or games that are already multi plat would work on that. But the reason this rumor came up is from some rumblings, as well as everything that Phil Spencer has on his shelf usually means something, and the Nintendo Switch has been featured prominently lately. So we'll see what happens on that. Like I said, that's a rumor. And continuing with the last rumor / leak / hearsay, dealing with DrDisrespect. We haven't talked about the doc in months, in a long time. I don't know how he's doing. I haven't been following. But for those who don't know, his last Twitch stream ended abruptly. And he was banned from Twitch. He was cagey about like, hey, I can't say what's going on, but I'll be back. And then he did return, not on Switch but on YouTube. So there were a lot of rumors as to what was happening. A lot of people claiming that they knew what was going on. So this interview that was done by a Call of Duty voice actor, which honestly, this doesn't sound like it's in any way wrong. It sounds probably about right. The Call of Duty voice actor basically said that they knew kind of some ins on it, and that DrDisrespect was essentially leveraging his Twitch deal for a exclusive deal with Mixer, which happens in some people do that in the corporate world, where they're like, hey, I've got this great deal, and you start like trying to court a new deal and be like, look, I'm over here, you've got to pay me more than these people. And apparently Twitch found out about it and shut him down. That's at least what the interviewee said. I think that sounds plausible. I mean, it's not the weird stuff that people had said that they thought was going on, the rumors of stuff. I think this sounds plausible as to why he got banned. What do you think?
I think it makes a lot more sense than anything else, because I think if it was like, there were some people saying that he was doing some illegal things, and Doc's not stupid. A lot of people think that he's ridiculous, which he absolutely is. Yeah. And there's some things where he's done, like, his character is probably questionable in terms of the base of people that he plays to, but but Guy, which is his real name, Doc's not dumb. And so I can totally see it in a case where, you know, this guy is our age. You know, I think he's actually a little older than you. I think he's in his upper 30s, and make your money, dude. Like, how long is this character really going to play out? He's been doing solid for a few years now, but it totally makes sense to me that he's like, I'm one of your biggest gets on Twitch right now, and this was before like Ninja came back and stuff. That, you know, give me money. And they said no, and used probably as a thing of like, well, you already have a huge contract with us. I can see that being like some kind of contract breaking thing. Yep. From what I can tell, he's still doing fine, though. I think if you look at his YouTube views, and that doesn't necessarily equate to money and everything, but it looks like 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. That's not live. That just means people will go back and watch his other streams and stuff. But I think he's doing okay from that. The thing that does suck, and I actually saw a tweet about this today, which was interesting that you put the article in there. Like, so another streamer, Tim the Tapman, who is a big streamer but is also just a friend of Doc's, they asked him if he ever played with Doc offline, because if you didn't know, you can't play. The part of the Twitch partner agreement is you can't play with banned players on stream. So nobody on Twitch can play with Doc. And they asked him if he could play with them offline, and basically he's like, probably not. You know, and that's just because the only time Doc really plays is when he's streaming, and so the thing would be like, he's playing with Tim, so he's streaming, so Tim would be on Doc's stream on YouTube. And that kind of, you know, that kind of to me was like an overreach. The fact that they can really control you up to that point. Literally, it's just both of you have to play offline, and at that point, does somebody report you if you're in a Discord? You have to have like a private Discord for that so that you guys can both play. But all of these people play for a living, so they're going to stream when they play video games.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's like if you're especially with the setups that they have, and I mean, if you're going to be playing, you're going to be streaming it. And if you're not, in one way or another, you're creating content, because they have to create content constantly to stay in the game. Even Doc stuff, which is very, you know, much better than a lot of people's content. He is streaming a lot. Like, looking at the length of time his streams are, which honestly he
puts in a shift at work, dude.
It's basically what he's
doing. He puts
doing.
5, 6, 7, 8 hour streams in there.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, everyone, like, one of the short ones was 4 hours.
Yeah.
And anyone who's doing that is exhausting. That is completely exhausting. When I've streamed, like when we do the show, I mean, it doesn't wear me out too much when we're just chatting, but streaming solo, where I'm having to be on and entertain
and just talk.
And talk for like
to
an
yourself.
hour and a half. I'm like, nope. Like at an hour and a half, I'm like, I'm exhausted. Having someone on the show is much easier, but yeah, he's doing this solo for like 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. He's putting in the time, he's getting the views, and I hope. I mean, who knows how long any of this is going to, you know, any of these things. Video games aren't going to go away. Twitch isn't going to go away. Things evolve, though, right? So people who were the biggest streamers no longer the biggest streamers. I just hope that he's stashing money away, which I'm assuming he is. So if at one point everything implodes, he doesn't have to work in a day in his life. This was it, and he can actually retire and do whatever the heck he wants.
That's where he's got like the same thing that Ninja did whenever Ninja went to Mixer. The reported thing was like $20 million, and they were able to just take that. Like, Mixer closed and they just took their money. There's another guy that I follow, Goth King Gothalion. He's on Facebook now, and he just took the money as well. And it's a thing of they just took that, you know, they got money, and so it's a matter of do they keep it. And so I assume that if Twitch banned him, there was still the amount of money that they like paid him to do it. But you know, this is one of those things where I don't know if it contributed to me watching streaming less, but before we got on, I mentioned I just don't watch a lot of streams anymore. I used to have a stream on literally all day that I had a stream on, and you know, the content creators, you know, started to move, and then I don't get to see the people play. Like I didn't watch Doc, but I watched a guy that he played with a lot. This, and you know, when you don't get to see these streamers team up that are like entertaining as a group, it's I don't know. I don't know what really caused it, but I know that this was part of it. Where I was like, Twitch, I don't know why you did this. This is
same thing happened with me. I was kind of funny. I listened and watched kind of funny, and Colin leaving, along with a lot of other people, it just wasn't the same for me. Every now and then I'll go back.
I listen to his podcast.
Yeah. So I need to, because I love Colin. I love the interplay. I can't remember if I told you about this. Whitney went to. So they were in town back when Colin was part of Kind of Funny. They were in town and they went to a Buffalo Wild Wings.
Over in like Frisco or something.
Yep. So we went to that Buffalo Wild Wings, and I brought the wife along. She's like, no. Like, she knew it was like a thing for me. So we just sat and chatted with Colin for like probably 2 hours. Myself, her, a couple other people. It basically ended up being like we all just kind of sat around like some chairs, like chatting. And she was like, that was really cool. He's a really awesome guy, like extremely intelligent guy. Because she thought, okay, well, I don't know who these nerdy people are. She never watched.
Nerds.
She came. I'm pretty sure she came dressed as Wonder Woman. So I mean, it wasn't really like like we're not nerds, but she didn't know what she was getting into. And like she met the other guys and everything. And Nick was cool and everything, and Greg's great. But yeah, I was very happy that Colin had his little like circle of people that he could just chat with in his little fireside, and it's awesome stuff. So if cons become a thing here again, then I hope he starts doing he does some cons like that one, because that was from a convention. But anyways,
probably not. He probably won't. That's not. He tried to do one, and they actually canceled his panel without.
I didn't know that.
He was going to do PAX East before it shut down, and they canceled it because of the internet culture. So no, he's still on like Patreon and stuff though. But if you don't want to listen to Colin, even though he's a quality podcast producer, you can listen to TheLanCave every week here live and enjoy our small but nice space. The nice. People who stop by and stuff, we have a good time in the chat. So feel free to share us around if you are enjoying the content, the where we'll just go off and talk about our Casper beds and whatnot, but also spend a lot of time talking about the thing that we love the most. Feel free to advertise for us.
Exactly.
We won't pay you, but
you'll
make
a shout out. But if you're in the chat, we'll probably talk to you. And there's a lot of streamers out there you don't get to do that with. So we're still small enough that you can do that, and you can hang out and be a part of the show, and probably try to distract us while we're talking about something. It happens, and it's cool. So let us know what you thought about all those things. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share it with all the friends that you have, whether they like things or not. Share it, and see you next time.
Okay, bye.